Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's campaign kickoff call. My name is Jimmy Mackin, founder of Listing Leads. Thrilled to have you on with me today. We have a lot of ground to cover today, and we're going to get right into it. Let me start by saying you have seen me posting in the group a lot recently about some of the trends that I'm paying close attention to, whether that's the use of agents, the rise of automation, or even this most recent post I had around the the fact that I think there's no good CRMs for solo agents. I'm not sure if you guys had seen that post actually in the group where we were just discussing this as a community. I think right now, when I look at the landscape of real estate technology, I'm seeing this sort of gap in the market where I'm seeing that for a lot of our community. And by the way, in the chat, let me know. Are you just put S or T? Are you a solo agent? And by solo, I mean just like a small, maybe one person on your team, assistant, or are you a team? Put an S or a T in the chat. And you can just see how many S's there are. We got a couple T's. We work with both teams and solo agents, but you can see that the vast majority of the people in this group right now are predominantly solo agents. And before we get into campaign kickoff today, which we have a lot of ground to cover in a short amount of time, I think it's kind of worth noting that there is going to be this monumental shift in real estate technology. And there's an expression that we used here within Listing Leads. We say every agent needs an agent. And the idea behind that is like there's a world that we're entering into where you can have agents support your business. And especially as a whether you're a small team or a solo agent, you're looking for leverage in your business. I mean that's what we're all looking for is we're looking to do more efficiently, produce better results, and do so in a way where we can maintain our profitability is the point. And so we have this expression, every agent needs an agent, and you're going to see kind of what that looks like in future states for us. So on that note, I'm going to give you, as I always do with these calls, I'm going to give you a little bit of sneak peek into the future of Listing Leads, share with you some of the things we've been working on. But before we do any of that, we got to talk about this week's plan. So, at the heart of Listing Leads, we create a marketing plan for you every single week. And the reason that we exist, the reason we've been doing this now for over 2 years, the reason we've created over 2,200 marketing campaigns for agents is because there's one thing that's so important. And my dear friend, who's part of our community pros, Tammy Montgomery, said this: consistency is more important than creativity. And so we want to make sure that you are consistently executing the winning strategies. So every week we put together a plan. If you log into Listing Leads, on the left-hand side, you see the listing attraction plan. If you click on that, you're going to see we break down the plan into basically what you should do every day, 5 days a week. Now, the plan includes every Monday, as always, deal of the week. That's you analyzing what's happening in the market, finding the very best deal, and then creating a marketing campaign around that. And then Tuesday, we do an email, Wednesday, sales script, all that. And I'll cover each of these individually. But the thesis behind what we do and what has really driven our success for our customers and ultimately our success as a company has largely been predicated on this idea that there are three things you should do every week as a real estate agent or a team. Number one is engage your database. Number two is convert your database. And number three, it is turn your database into more people. Grow your database. Engage, convert, grow. That's the sort of three things that we try to do every week. And if we can do those three things every week, we know we put a solid week in place, and that's going to help us have more conversations and generate more customers. So let's walk through the plan together, and then we'll dive into some of the sneak peek stuff that I've been hinting at in the group, because I'm not sure if you guys like this, I always like to do it. If you're part of the campaign kickoff, I want to reward you by giving you a glimpse into the future. Just put a W in the chat if you love this, because if you love like kind of that like little sneak peek into what we're doing, I definitely want to make sure that we're giving you guys what you want. And I like to reward people who show up. That's a great line, which is it's from this book I read. I think it was Walter Isaacson about the American Revolution. He said, "Decisions are made by those who show up." And I know this group shows up every week. Okay, so Monday, deal of the week. As always, All you're doing here is analyzing all latest listings in 7 days, finding the one that has got the most likes or saves, or the one that you believe is the best deal, and creating a campaign around this. This is an ode to my friend Sharon, former president of Real, now CEO of acquisition.com. We just say this is just a staple campaign. Now you can mix and match this. We give you a bunch of examples like the best value. We have Instagram stories. You most certainly can grab your phone and just be like, hey, I just analyzed the 15 newest listings to hit the market in Auburn, New Hampshire, and I came across what I think is the very best deal. In fact, I was on Zillow early this morning, and I saw this listing actually had 135 saves, which is way more than the average listing. In fact, if you look at right here, here's the listing. If you want to get more details, just comment below. Like, you can turn the deal of the week into a video script, post it on social media if you want to get in front of the camera, do a quick little green screen, but it is a conversation starter. That's the whole point of the deal of the week. So every week we create a deal of the week. Now, what we do that's notable, this is important, is that we'll give you different angles, because you can't be like just sending listing alerts and just like check you're done your marketing. We got to give you different angles. So we have literally written like 100 different ways to say the same thing. So here's an example of best value in the area. You can take this email, you can personalize it with the local deal of the week, and you can send it out the door. That's it. Now, I would give you some advice here as it relates to, because everyone always asks, when it comes to email marketing, Jimmy, like, who should I send it to? And my advice is this: your database should be organized into 3 buckets. Number 1 is prospects, people you have not done business with. Number 2 is clients, people you have done business with, and including your professional network. And number 3 is everyone. You can go deeper. You can filter by price point and stage and tags and all that. But at the very minimum, and by the way, this is like the Pareto principle, 80-20. I mean, you'll get 80% of the results you're going to get from segmentation by just kind of having this structure in place, which is prospects, clients, everyone. Deal of the week is a prospecting campaign. It's designed to go to basically people you have not worked with. We generally do a lot of prospecting email, and then we'll do 2 or 3 emails a month for clients. We don't want to overwhelm your clients. We don't want to bombard them with like new listing alerts. We want to put ourselves in a position where we're sending things that are more about what's happening in the market or big macro trends. So the deal of the week is going to be for your prospects. Now, if you've been a part of Campaign Kickoff before, and by the way, if this is your first time, let me know in the chat right now if you're a first timer. Because for those of you who are part of, and we got Duke Lane in the chat. Duke Lane might have a cool, man, I wish my name was Duke Lane. That might be the coolest name I've seen in a while, Duke. I might start having to have an alias called Duke Mackin. I love it. So we got a lot of first timers on today's call. So one of the things that I'm going to coach you on is this idea that we have got to be emailing our database to create the perfect sales prospecting list that week. And so the reason I email on Monday, the reason I email on Tuesday is I want to light my CRM up like it's Christmas morning. I want to see a bunch of activity so that I can focus in on who I call. We built an 11-person ISA team. We set 5,000 appointments in 1 year. The biggest lesson in learning that we carry through this is that if you want to set more appointments, send more emails. If you want to become an appointment setting machine, send more emails. So this email that we created this past week is this idea of like the counter narrative. And in the chat, let me know before I show the email, is the news around selling during the summer typically negative or positive? When you think about like what people talk about, the association people have around selling during the summer, like, are they like, oh, selling during the summer is a great idea, I should definitely do it? Or is it more like, yeah, selling is like, I'm going to wait until the fall, I'm going to wait until maybe next spring? Like, what is the general feedback? And you can see some people like, oh, positive is great. A lot of negative. I'd argue that as an agent, we know that selling during the summer is actually one of the better opportunities, without a doubt, because in some cases, there's fewer competition. In some cases, the people who are looking right now are more serious buyers. So what we want to do is we want to challenge people's conventional wisdom around selling during the summer. So we created an email and the subject line is new, unexpected summer real estate update for you. And the style in which we write emails and the style in which we write copy is really designed to feel like a human being wrote it, not an AI bot, and certainly not something about automated, deterministic, email marketing engine. So, quick one today. Everyone assumes the summer is a slow season, and honestly, the data mostly agrees. Homes are sitting longer than last year. You can update if that's different for your market. But every once in a while, this market does something surprising. 5 sales in the last 30 days did exactly that. One closed on a number I had to double check. I put together a short list of sales, what they went for, and my read on why. Want it? Just reply list and I'll send it over. Now, this is a value-based email that's designed to get someone to open and someone to reply. That's all we're doing with this email. Now, I'll give you a quick pro tip. In this email, we promise the consumer an update on the 5 most notable sales. So how do you actually do that? You should just simply download the last 30 days of transactions from your MLS, throw it into Claude. Now, in the past, I would have to give you like this incredible prompt and the structure of it and all that. But with Fable, and I always recommend Claude. By the way, I always recommend Claude for virtually everything. But what I would do is I would throw it into Claude and I'd say, here's the last 30 days of transactions. I'm sending an email. I'm sending an email to my database to highlight the 5 most notable sales. Find them for me and tell me why you highlighted them. That's it. You don't have to give it super specific instructions. You don't have to give it like all these rules and all these guardrails and all these constraints. In fact, if you do that, they say with the latest models, it makes the output even worse. So the days of us having to become prompt engineers are over. The models have gotten so much better and so much more efficient and smarter that we can just simply tell it what our goal is. We want to put together a great article to share with our database on the 5 notable sales. Find me something worth sharing. Find me something worth promoting. That's all you got to do. So for this particular email, my advice is, this is just great prep marketing in general. Download the 30 days of transactions in your MLS. Just get them in a CSV file, throw them into Claude, and then use that exact prompt I gave you. You don't have to be overly specific. Just use something along those lines, and it will produce great results for you. You can actually turn that into a Claude artifact, and that can become the thing you share. You don't even have to create a blog on your website. You don't have to load it up into some type of landing page tool. You can have a public-facing Claude artifact that you can just share with people. You can, of course, if you want to get more activity on social media, you can do the exact same script I just gave you with a camera. Hey, I just analyzed the last 30 days of sales in our area, and I came across what I think are 5 of the most notable sales. I'm going to give you all the details about this, why I think they sold quickly, why this is a lesson for everyone who's thinking about selling. All you got to do is just comment below, and I'll send you the list. Like, just turn the corner on that. Get out there and promote that. We had a question from Trish. What would be considered a notable sale? Excellent question. So a few things. And by the way, the beauty of AI, Trish, specifically Fable, is it will find that. It will not just be like list price versus sales price. Anybody can do that. It'd be like, hey, this home sold 63% faster than the comparable homes that were listed around the same price in the same area. So speed might be something that makes it notable. The fact that maybe it had like 7 price reductions and eventually sold, it could be positive or like perceived negative. The fact that it was on the market for like 265 days and finally sold, that makes it notable. So it could be speed, it could be the number of price reductions, it could be the total price reduction in terms of volume went from like 1.6 million down to 1.1 million, or it could be the fact that it sold way above the original list price. These are all things that with the right data, Claude can basically suggest. And then you as the expert can kind of pick and choose which ones you think are worth sharing is the point. Okay, so building on that idea, the reason we send an email on Monday and the reason we send an email on Tuesday is so we can come back around here and start setting appointments. I want you to become an appointment setting machine. So let me walk through this process with you because we have a lot of first timers on today's call. What I want you to do is I want you to send the email on Monday. I want you to post on social on Monday. And if you want bonus points, shoot the video. Send the email on Tuesday. Post a video on Tuesday if you want. If you want some bonus points. All I'm doing is getting lots of engagement. Now I'm going to turn the corner and I'm going to send out a text to anybody who has opened up the email. So yes, I'm going to get some replies. That's great. That's awesome. But the vast majority of the business you're going to get, you're going to have to go hunt for. And the right way to hunt efficiently and the right way to stir up conversations is to be proactive. We know this. So what I want to do is I want to turn you into an appointment setting machine. In order to help you do that, I got to make sure that you can become a conversation machine. I got to help you start more conversations. So this text message that we created, which is, hey, Bethany, I just sent an email that's getting a lot of responses. So I wanted to make sure you saw this. That's using psychology, the herd mentality to basically say, oh, this might be something that's worth checking out. I put together a list of 5 notable sales in the area. One closed way above what anyone expected. Want me to send it over. Now, I'm going to send the email on Monday. I'm going to send the email on Tuesday. I'm going to get a list of maybe 100, 200 people who have opened up those emails, and I'm going to go through and start texting them. All I'm trying to do is create conversations which lead to appointments, which leads to customers. That's all I'm doing with my marketing. I'm not looking to go viral. I'm not looking to get you 1,000 likes on Facebook. I'm looking to create conversations. We are a direct response marketing company. Everything is about conversations because conversations equal appointments. Appointments equals customers. Okay, so that's this message. So what I would do if I were in your position right now is I am sending out the email of the week I'm posting on social. I'm doing the email of the week on Tuesday. And then I'm going through my CRM and I'm following up with anybody who opened up the email. And all I'm trying to do is start a conversation. That's it. And then when they reply yes, I'm going to send over the text. And then I'm just going to ask an easy to answer question, which is something along the lines of, here's a link. Oh, by the way, one more thing I forgot to ask. How closely have you been following the market? All right, I'm just trying to keep that conversation going. I'm like, this is ping pong. Don't let them hit the ball back to you and then you just wait for them to hit the ball back to you again. No, like keep volleying it. And the mindset should be you should follow up until they tell you to stop. Like that is it. Follow up until they tell you to stop. It's either they buy, sell, or tell you to stop. In that case, like that's the only reason for you not to follow up. Now, let me give you one quick pro tip here. Every single week. Yeah, thank you, Ellie. The word I'm using, by the way, is fable. Fable, which is the newest model from Claude, that got pulled off because of the government and then got reinstated. Tells you how powerful it is. One of the big lessons I want to share with you is this. When it comes to prospecting, and this is the reason why at Listing Leads we create these campaigns every single week versus like here's like 5 texts, just use this over and over again, which is the 3 most important words in sales are bring something new. So every week, whether it's an email or a social media post or it's a text message campaign, we want to bring something new to the table, new to the conversation. That is the essence of becoming an appointment setting machine is I'm bringing something new. I'm following up. I'm giving something of value week after week after week after week after week. And if you do that and you follow the plan, you're going to grow beyond your wildest dreams. Why most agents fail is because they don't have a plan. They don't have the copy. They don't have the creative. So they get stuck in the sort of like discovery mode and their business kind of goes through ebbs and flows. Just follow the plan. All right. So on Thursday, like every week, we include social media and video scripts you can use. So this week, you can see here, I've got a couple different versions for you. This is building on the theme of the week, which is once you've done the analysis, you can leverage the Instagram story templates we created to use that to start more conversations. So we get a bunch of them that are built that you can leverage right now, but it's the exact same theme, which is analyze the MLS, find the 5. It could be, by the way, it could be 3. It doesn't have to be 5. It could be 3. If you're in a big market, it could be 7. You choose. But find the notable sales, send the email, send the text, and then post on social using the Canva templates we have provided for you. You can just click on Open in Canva, and you can personalize these templates for your personal brand. Super simple, very fast. We will help you be consistent. Consistency beats creativity. We're creative, so you can be consistent is the point. So that's this week's plan. Now, as I promised, I want to take this opportunity right now and just talk a little bit about the future. Because from my perspective, one of the things that I've been talking a lot about is this idea of how do you be more consistent with your marketing. Now, in the chat, you got to let me know how many of you right now are like desperately like let me ask this question differently. I got this incredible VA, virtual assistant. I mean, this VA is trained on everything listing leads. Okay. They know they know when to post, they know what to post, they know your brand voice, they're connected to your current tools. They're like, I mean, super, super reliable. You don't have to train them. We've already trained them. Okay. How many of you right now want to hire our VA to do it for you? Just raise your hand in the chat right now. Just like put a W in the chat right now. I mean, how many of you like, listen, Jimmy, I love everything you do, but like, please, please, just like train the VA and just give them to me. I don't want to define them, recruit them, hire them, train them, manage them. And look how many W's are coming in the chat right now. Like, I need help. Like, even my guy, Duke Lane, needs help, right? Everybody needs help. Okay. So in the past, for us to offer something like this to you as part of our community, we would have to train up like 25, 30 VAs. I mean, we got thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are part of the Listing Leads platform. If we wanted to service our community, we'd have to train like 20 or 30 VAs. We have to recruit them, train them, monitor them, manage them, keep them up to date because we're always evolving and changing and improving. And then we'd have to make sure like they're actually doing their job and hold them accountable. So what does that mean? It means we'd probably have to charge you like $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, probably even $2,000 a month to have a really good VA. But it's 2026. And the days of having to hire people to do repetitive tasks, even when those repetitive tasks require some intelligence and some decision making, are over. And so what we've been working on behind the scenes is our newest, and I don't even want to call it a product, it's our newest release from Listing Leads, which is a digital employee. We're calling it Vibes. And what Vibes is going to be able to do is we are training Vibes to be a specialist. So what we're doing right now with Vibes is we are training it on specific Listing Leads campaigns, which is right now, Vibes is getting trained up on expired marketing. If you're not familiar with the concept of the cannonball, like let me know in the chat if you guys know the cannonball. Put a thumbs up in the chat. If you don't know the cannonball strategy, we have some additional training on this. You guys can follow up a little bit later on. But the cannonball absolutely crushes. It is one of my favorite strategies we developed, the Listing Leads. So we're training our VA to become a expired specialist, meaning they'll be able to research and track expireds in your local market. They'll be able to build out the home profile to gather all the information about the expired listing. They'll be able to actually send the expired listing an email. They'll be able to actually mail the expired listing a sales letter or postcard, and they'll be able to continue to follow up until that person either converts into a customer or relists with another agent. And so what we're building behind the scenes at Listing Leads, and we're working with our community pros to make sure we work out all the bugs before we release this publicly. But we are building out an army of specialized VAs called digital employees that you'll be able to hire for your business. Whether it's nurturing your database, posting to social media, following up with expired listings, creating content for your website, we're bringing it all together for you. And this is the future. And the reason we believe this is the future is because we can do it for less money, more reliably, and perform better than anything else we've seen on the market by a mile. And at Listing Leads, because we have 2,200 campaigns and we have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of training and working with real estate agents, we know exactly what to do. We can feed that into our models and feed that into our skills, feed that into our tools, feed that into our technology to build that. So I want to call this out because we're going to be releasing this publicly towards the end of the month. But if you haven't done so already, make sure, and I'll drop this in the chat, make sure that you are signed up for the beta. Okay. Make sure that when you go to vibes.com/beta, that you just simply text that number. When you text that number, the AI is going to ask you a few questions and it will add you to the list. And we're going to do a first come, first serve basis. So we're going to bring on people based on basically where you're at in your business. But if you're looking, and how many of you, by the way, let us know, like if we're on the, put a W in the chat if we're on the right track. We want to give every agent an agent. You guys with me on this? We want to give every agent an agent. That is our dream. That is our vision. That is our goal. That is what we're building for you. And we're not going to stop until every single person on today's call, and certainly our entire community, is leveraging listing leads to its fullest capabilities. And we want to make this accessible to you. I think the reality is right now, when we looked at the landscape, we saw like, I mean, in order for you to build this yourself was a tremendous amount of work. To hire a company to do it for you, we found ended up being like thousands of dollars per month. That's not what we're doing here. We're going to make this accessible to our entire community. So there'll be nobody on today's call who can't afford Vibes. We'll have it broken down where you can hire for specific services and scale as your business scales. If you go to vibes-agent.com/beta, you can text. I'll grab the number actually too. I'll just drop in the chat right now. You can literally just text this number, and I put in the chat for you, and you can text it to be added to the beta list. We do have right now, I want to say, because I didn't announce this last week on last week's call, we do have around, I think, 420 people already on the beta list, give or take. So make sure that you're putting yourself on this, because we have not even begun to promote this publicly. We have not shared this with like my Tom Ferry network. We have not shared it with like I'm going to be at Summit next at the middle of August, or the third or 4th of August, and I'm going to be in front of an audience of like 6,000 people. I'm going to announce it to 6,000 people live on stage at Summit. So I want this community, like our current customers, to take priority. So if you are someone who right now who's like, listen to me, I love this idea, get me on the list. I'm not sure if it's a great fit, but I want to make sure I save my spot. Just text that number. We'll make sure we have you dialed in, because we want to do this on a first come, first served basis. In the meantime, make sure that you're doing the basics. Consistency beats creativity, as Mama T would say. Execute the plan this week. Start more conversations, set more appointments. Let's keep the momentum going this summer, because we know 40% of the sales happen between September and December across the US. So I'm sorry, 30% of the sales happen between September and December across the US. So the appointments you set today are your closings come the fall. I will see you guys next Monday. As always, thank you so much for being part of the Listings community. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our amazing support team and stay active in our mastermind group. I will see you next week, and make sure you're texting that line, vibes-agent.com/beta. Text that number, get on the wait list. I'll see you guys soon. Be well.